Hello, good evening. How are you today? Welcome to Insights with Jazini, where we look at some of the political happenings in Nigeria, especially unfolding events. A lot of candidates set out this election season to declare their interest for political offices. And like every other race, the political race is not without issues and as competitive as every other race. Candidates try what they can to demarket other candidates and then gain more relevance. Particularly, I want to talk about unfolding events with the candidate of the Labour Party, Peter Obi, who in recent times have been touring places from Nigeria to outside the country in his quest to convince the electorates about what he has to offer the country. In recent times, he found himself in the United States, in New York, Canada, London, and some other places. But what's raising the dust the more is the proposition that he's going to get funding from outside the country. A lot of political parties are not finding it funny because, as earlier speculated, the Labour Party is not making any headway. They are not going anywhere. It's a party without structure, and by structure, the Nigerians mean the organogram of parties that see to electing political office holders. And these structures are very important because these are the ones that participate in political activities like as is peculiar with Nigeria, their youths before now have been seen as not part of the political terrain. They go their way. Maybe their parents go and get their make the endeavors and then bring out the proceeds of their electoral escapades. And then because of empathy over time, the Nigerian youths feel their votes have not been counting and they have no business being in politics. And then politics was said to be left for a particular group of people who can fight their way through, who can bully people and do all the dirty things to get into power. So a lot of Nigerians didn't look the way of politics. But the trends are changing. One of the things that is fascinating for me is the awareness, the awakening among the Nigerian electorates, especially with the Obi character that joined the one-time dormant Labour Party, and things have changed. And the man on his own has been making serious efforts to educate and to awaken the consciousness of most Nigerians that politics can work, that their votes can count, that they can see somebody that is credible. Whether or not everybody believes that narrative is not important. What's important is that it's actually happening and there is an awakening. Now, it was thought that this man has nothing to contribute, especially considering the region where he comes from. He comes from a region where there seems to be a tension between that region and the federal government because of the Nigerian Biafran war, and that part of the country has been seen to be troublemakers, and everything concerning them is left to bear. And because of that, there is no serious political presence in terms of presidential appointment, opportunity from that region, because it is believed that they will utilize the power given to them to bring to existence some of the requests they have always made in the union of the Nigeria. Nigeria is made up of several ethnic factions that have come together or were brought together to form a nation. And because of this, the constraints of differences that its polity, its governance structure and strata has refused to explore, there are lots of deepening tension. And this candidate is someone that is promising to bridge the gaps and break all the walls that has made Nigeria be behind all this while. And his narrative is bought by a lot of the young generation. And even in the country too, politics is seen to be played by a group of people who have been in it, grown in it, and are big heads. Even people in their 70s, 80s. And the difference now is that the P2B personality is somebody that is a little lower in age and appeals to a cross-section of Nigerian young people who feels left out in the narrative of a Nigeria. Now, studying happenings with this candidacy of Obi, they saw the Nigerian populace is seeing a different terrain, because even the candidate himself comes with the narrative of trying to create a new order in the polity of Nigeria, something that has not been, or trying to change the status quo, because politics is played in a particular way in the country, is kind of mystified, and he is trying to buy the hearts of those younger people who have lost faith in the country, that they can be part of what is happening. And watching the trends, when he came on board, it was said that there was no structure, as in there is the senatorial strata, the governors, the House of Assembly, and maybe senators, even local government strata, that are supposed to be part of the organogram of the party, that will see to the grassroots mobilization and see that people are elected in all these strata of government to be able to be represented when their candidate becomes a president. So because of that inadequacy of a Labour Party which before now it seemed to be more like a pressure group demanding things from the government, and then coming to enjoy the love of Nigerians because of the candidacy of a man whose legacies has advertised him. So there was no much concern as to the candidacy of this man when he started. It was like a joke. His candidacy was labeled in different forms and seen to be a joke. But persistently and patiently, this man has proven himself, or is proving himself, that it has not been, it cannot always be the same. And a lot of people consider how he also came into power as a governor in Anambra State. It wasn't through the usual means. And all the times he has held positions of authority, they've been controversial in the sense that he didn't follow the normal route. And then because of all, he didn't belong to a very known political class or political clique. He's seen as not being so much of a threat. But in recent times, because of the popularity he's gathering, I would say that there is fear in many quarters. And then another factor was the factor of funding. because the polity of Nigeria was more like who you know, the access you have to bigger authorities and powers, the monies you can access, and then big heads who can sponsor you as either godfathers or what have you. This man doesn't seem to fall into that group who seem to be enjoying all these narratives. Then there was no feeling that he could garner the amount of funds that is needed to find himself in the highest power of the land. And then he's making honest effort and finding himself in the diaspora, and with the narrative he's sending, there's a cross-section of Nigerians who live outside the country, who feel that things are not well in the country, and who feel that they have seen the way it is done in most other countries, who want to see to it that this man comes into power. And they are doing even within the country, he is enjoying the kind of support that no other politician of this era is enjoying. People are going out to print materials for him, make pledges and donations to his campaign organization, and even campaigning for him freely. It was termed a social media phenomenon earlier, but as time went on, those people who his narrative appeals to wanted to prove that section of Nigerians who feel is a social media phenomenon wrong by connecting and then forming concrete alliances and trying to build the said structure, the people that will be in the political scenes in the days of elections to see to the protection of their votes. And then the funding that is so much clamored for is now like coming. In his visit, the diasporans promised to fund his election to the tune of $150 million. And that's raising dust in the country. And there is panic. Like I said, like every other race, the parties involved are always trying to see a way to pitch themselves favorably than their opponent. And as you can see, other political parties are coming up with electoral stipulations saying that is breaching the amended electoral laws, and then the laws of the land. A lot of names have been given to it, and there have been a lot of analysis as to whether it should happen or not. There have been calls to disqualify him, but I want to talk about the disqualification a little bit, because even the electoral law didn't talk about disqualifying a candidate. It talked about paying fines when you default, and again, it didn't also include anyway, that's part of the analysis that is being drawn, that the individual is not part of is not the political party, like say. And then when I looked at all his visits, I feel that this is a man that is caught in the fire. Out of the passion and the love he's enjoying, people are making promises. He said money has not even come in. And then his clique are saying that it's going to be a very transparent process. But the Attorney General of the Federation said that whoever sponsors Peter Obi and even himself will be seriously dealt with. And the question is, what is dealing with? What is dealing with? Is it following the electoral laws? Is it following an antagonistic approach? And then is it also I don't know how to put it this time, but I will find the best way to put it. Now, looking at funding and regulations of funding during elections, the question will be asked: electoral financial offenses and then financial regulations, at what point does it start? A lot of persons are questioning the point at which this regulation starts. Looking at the primaries and what transpired, a lot of money were said to have exchanged hands. And then let's look at how the political parties sold their nomination forms, starting with the APC as a party. Their nomination form was 100 million naira. And then about 24 candidates of that party were made to buy the nomination forms and to participate. When the whole incident happened, I was of the opinion that I don't understand why a political party will coerce almost every big head in their party to buy forms in that tune. A lot of them claim to have been funded. And then let's look at it, 100 million times the number of aspirants that bought those forms, and then and the money is said to be in the coffers of their political party, meaning that that party looked ahead and they saw ahead and tried to raise their own funds before the watchdogs come crying. And they already have a lot of millions in their accounts as to undertake their own elections. Let's also look at the PDP. Their own went for 40 million naira. And I think Nigerians are now beginning to feel like they understand what happened then, because it was like all drama, but now it's unfolding. The funding, I would say, from what I discovered, Peter Obi, I would say, didn't really go to the diaspora to ask for money. What he was saying from his narrative is that he's trying to prepare the way such that when he wins election, the diasporan support will be part of what will move the country forward. And then out of love and empathy, the people decided to raise funds, and the funds have not been raised. I think they are going to also look at the issues from the perspective of the law and allowable practices within the law to be able to fund their candidates. But for me, it is the awakening in the polity of the country for the first time in history that there is a support system from all over the country. And then we think we enjoyed that level of support in the MKO Abiola election, but it's repeating itself, and now in a different form, because the younger populace of Nigeria are involved. Because of time, I'm going to end this video here. We will still x-ray some of the issues concerning electoral funding, and then the candidates of the Labour Party, and the issues surrounding the fundraising within and outside Nigeria. There is this talk about allowable limits, and then monitoring of election expenses by INEC. People are of the opinion that it is because this guy is enjoying a lot of support that the scrutiny and implementation of these laws are coming to bear. It's a welcome development, and we will see as things unfold in the polity of Nigeria, especially with the entrance of this not everyday kind of politician. Thank you for watching. Please do subscribe to my channel, and then like our videos, and give us thumbs up if you like what I am doing here, so that we can grow. Thank you so much, and see you next time. Bye bye.